Hello, hello. Sure. Going a bit blurry if I move around too much, but I don't move around too much. Just waiting. So I'm gonna read some stuff out of a book and discuss something. We're gonna discuss some things in the book. It's about music, fittingly, and it's a good book because it kind of like it talks about music and nothing else. It just talks about music. Nothing to do with like, you know, what the person experienced because of this music or what kind of. It's not to do with like how that music related to experience they had in life. Nothing like that. It's more like just music to talk about music, which is very rare. So rare that I didn't do it actually. So let's try it. Well, let's listen to it. Show the glasses. Too much. Alright, so it's going to go in and out of. It's doing it again. It's wearing glasses. Is that why? It just does it sometimes. I'm going to restart my phone. We're going to do that, so. Fuck it. Shit. Like trapped in my little like fucking like zone. Hey, at least to the water. It's still fairly free. It's sort of still free, sort of. At least we still got water. I got better ones than this. These are my like. These aren't as good as the other ones. But the other ones are all over there and I can't get them. Because I'm a lazy bitch. It's going to be going in and out of focus. Is that annoying? That's the less I have my last stuff. I can do the less I have more light on. I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure. I think it still keeps doing that until I stop. Until I restart my phone. Oh, that's light. Okay. That. Okay, good. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It just does it sometimes. I still restart my phone. Anyway. 31 songs. It's written by Nick Hornby, and it is... Nick Hornby wrote High Fidelity, which is a movie. You might have seen it. He's English. Trying to see which light. Maybe more light. Kind of like once it adjusts, it starts doing it. Whatever. So he wrote this book about 31 songs that he loves, and he writes about them in reference to their music, not in reference to their time. And not in reference to anything else except their music. I don't know how to explain that to you, besides reading it to you and understanding it. So number 3, I did 2 last night. Number 3 is I'm Like a Bird by Nelly Furtado. Oh, of course I can understand people dismissing pop music. Stupid. Pop music is like everything. I know that a lot of it, nearly all of it, is trashy, unimaginative, poorly written, slickly produced, inane, repetitive, and juvenile. Although at least 4 of these adjectives could be used to describe the incessant attacks on pop that you still find in posh magazines and newspapers. I know too. He has a lot of brackets in his writing, and I do too, but I realize how annoying it is reading his writing. I know too, believe me, that Cole Porter was better than Madonna or Travis, that most pop songs are aimed cynically at a target audience 3 decades younger than I am. That in any case, the golden age was 35 years ago, and there has been very little of value since. It's just that there's this song I heard on the radio, and I bought the CD, and now I have to hear it 10 or 15 times a day. That's the thing that puzzles me about those who feel that contemporary pop, and I use the word to encompass soul, reggae, country, rock, anything and everything that might be regarded as trashy, is beneath them, behind them, or beyond them, some predisposition denoting the distance. Anyway. Does this mean that you never hear, or at least never enjoy new songs, that everything is whistle or hum, was written years, decades, centuries ago? Do you really deny yourselves the pleasure of mastering a tune? Pleasure incidentally. If you don't read it loud very much, it's hard. That your generation is perhaps the first in the history of mankind to forego. You're afraid it might make you look as if you don't know who Harold Bloom is. Wow, I bet you're fun at parties. The song that has been driving me pleasantly potty recently is I'm Like a Bird by Nelly Furtado. Only history will judge whether Miss Furtado turns out to be any kind of artist, and though I have my suspicions that she will not change the way we will look at the world, I can't say that I'm very bothered. I met Nelly Furtado at the Portaloos in a festival. There you go. I can't say that I'm very bothered. I'll always be grateful for her for creating in me the narcotic need to hear her song again and again. It is, after all, a harmless need, easily satisfied, and there are few enough of those in the world. I don't even want to make a case for this song as opposed to any other, although I happen to think that it's a very good pop song, with dreamy languor and a bruised optimism that immediately distinguishes it from its anemic and stunted peers. The point is that a few months ago it didn't exist, at least as far as we are concerned, and now here it is, and that in itself is a small miracle. Dave Eggers has a theory that we play songs over and over, those of us who do, because we have to solve them. And it's true that in our early relationship with them, a courtship, a new song, there is a stage which is akin to a sort of emotional puzzlement. There's a little bit in I'm Like a Bird, for example, about halfway through, where the voice is double tracked on a phrase, and the effect, especially on someone who is not a musician. Someone who loves and appreciates music but is baffled and seduced by even the simplest musical tricks is rich and fresh and addictive. Sure, it will seem thin, stale soon enough. Before very long, I will have sold I'm Like a Bird, and I won't want to hear it very much anymore. A 3-minute pop song that only withholds its mystery for so long, after all. So yes, it's disposable, as a date that makes any difference to anyone's perceptions of the value of pop music. But then, shouldn't we be sick of Moonlight Sonata by now? Or Christina's World, or The Importance of Being Earnest? They're empty, nothing left, we suck them dry. That's what gets me. The very people who are snotty about the disposability of pop will go over and over again to see Lady Bracknell say a handbag in a funny voice. They don't think that jokes exhaust itself. Maybe disposability is a sign of pop music's maturity, a recognition of its own limitations rather than the converse. Anyway, I was sitting in a doctor's waiting room the other day, and 4 little Afro-Caribbean girls patiently sitting on their mother's appointment suddenly launched into Nelly Furtado's song. They were every word perfect. They had a couple of dance moves, and they sang with enormous appetite and glee, and I liked it, that we had something in common, temporarily. I felt as though we all lived in the same world and that it doesn't happen so often. A couple of times a year I make myself a tape to play in the car, a tape full of all the new songs I've loved over the previous few months. And every time I finish one, I can't believe that there'll be another. Yet there always is, and I can't wait for the next one. You need only a few hundred more things like that, and you've got a whole life worth living. That's cool. Who is this? It's Nick Hornby, 31 songs. He wrote High Fidelity, movie High Fidelity. Hello, how are you? Where he used to sing in the beginning and helps eternally. Yeah, I believe we are celestial in, like, I'm trying to read your, I'm about reading from chat. The beginning was echo and hearts of those, yeah. Thanks, Coco. Ah! I just someone's on the profile. Certain songs can be hyper extensions of life. Yeah, so, I mean, like Taylor Swift. I mean, I love Taylor Swift. And, like, you know, I get sick of her songs too. Like he says in this, he has it on point with pop music. It does bring people together, which is a beautiful thing about it. And it's just like this, it's the base of every music, really. Like, it's got the verse, the hook, verse, bridge, verse. Like, it's this, it's a beautiful thing. You play around with that kind of, that thing. And I don't know. I always love pop music. It's my favorite genre. It's tasting these songs if it's lots of flavors. Yeah, I'm reading your comments backwards, so those. No, it's fine. Okay. Yes, the songs. Yeah. What did I pick? 3. I would pick Torn by Natalie Imbruglia. Okay, well, yeah, I'll accept you. My favourite is pop. Yeah, Google, please respond. Please respond to our text. Are you alive? Are you actually alive? Please wave to me. Wave to me, you really, I'm sorry. Rising Star. Get a username and then you come back and 7 days, okay? Bye. And you know, easy username. I can't do no usernames. No, she's not. But is she yours? Why do you ask? Why wouldn't she be? She's really good. Weirdo. What a weirdo. Alright, Heartbreaker, Led Zeppelin, next one. 13 songs. 31 songs, sorry, not 30. I don't fucking count. Alright. For the traditional interpretation of boys and infatuation with heavy or new or rap metal involves guitars that serve as substitutes for the penis, homoeroticism, and all sorts of other things. Bestokening perversity, sexual confusion, and intricatable morbid neurosis. True, I spent a brief period in love with the Irish blues rock guitarist Rory Gallagher, and true, I would, for the first 3 or 4 years of my life as a rock fan, only listen to singers who would happily admit to eating rodents or reptiles. Yet I suspect there is a musical rather than pathological explanation for my early dalliance with Zeppelin and Sabbath and Deep Purple. Namely, I was able to trust my judgment of a song, like a pretentious but dim adult who won't watch a film unless it has subtitles. I wouldn't listen to anything that wasn't smooth, smothered in loud, distorted electric guitars. How was I to know whether the music was any good otherwise? Songs that were played on a piano or acoustic guitar by people without mustaches and beards, girls, for example, people who ate salad rather than rodents. Well, that could be bad music, trying to play a trick on me. That could be people pretending to be the Beatles when they weren't. How could I know? if it was all undercover like that, no, best avoid the question of good or bad and stick to loud instead. You couldn't go, that's really funny. That's really good. That's a really good explanation of like why people listen to punk, like kids listen to punk music. It's like it's an easy yes. You know what I mean? What is it? He's leaving. Good. Yeah, it's a good explanation like why kids listen to punk music, because it is like an easy, cool go-to, and yeah, because you might be, if you like something else, you might be called out for it, like Taylor Swift, for example. Like you can't be sure whether like someone will be okay with that or not okay with that. Most of the time they'll be not okay with that. So you better say Sex Pistols. Sex Pistols. Usually people are okay with that. This title helps too. Song titles which do not contain obvious heavy rock signifiers like music without loud guitars. Versa. Hey charts. World is falling down all around, but their love is all I see in her idle vice. I think you is my favorite, hands down, which is love. What do you think? Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, I did hard. What? And I didn't trust it. You could easily imagine a bad song called My Old Man, not least because my dad liked a song called My Old Man, a Dustman. Or Little Green, not least because my dad liked a song called Little Green Apples. And God knows you couldn't tell whether the record was any good by listening to the fucking thing. The songs on Black Sabbath's album Paranoid, for example, were solid, dependable, and immediately indicative of quality. How could there be a bad song called Iron Man or War Pigs or My Cup Reigneth Over Rat Salad? So for me, learning to love quieter songs, country, soul, and folk songs, ballads sung by women and played on the piano or the viola or some damn thing, songs with harmonies and titles like Carney, because who with a pair of ears that work doesn't love blue? Okay, it's not about getting older, but about acquiring musical confidence and ability to judge for myself. Sometimes it seems that with each passing year, a layer of grungy guitar has been scraped away until eventually I have reached a stage where I can, I hope, tell a good George Jones song from a bad one. Songs undressed like that, without a stitch of Stratocaster on them, are scary. You have to work them out for yourself. Yeah, definitely. This is Led Zeppelin. This is, what's the song? Heartbreaker for Led Zeppelin. And then once you are able to do that, you become as lazy and as afraid as your own judgment as you were when you were 14. How do you tell whether a CD is any good? You look for evidence of quiet, good taste, is how. You look for a moody, black and white cover, evidence of violas, maybe a guest appearance from someone classy, some ironic song titles, a sticker with a quote taken from a review in Mojo or a broadsheet newspaper. Perhaps a couple of references somewhere to literature or cinema, and of course you stop listening to music made by shrieking, leather-troused, shaggy-haired men altogether. Because how are you supposed to know whether it's any good or not when it's played out? Oh, wait, no. I discovered something sometime during the last few years that my musical diet was light of carbohydrates, that the rock riff is nutritionally essential, especially in cars and on book tours when you need something quick and cheap to get you through a long day. Nirvana, the bands, and the Chemical Brothers stimulate my appetite, but only Led Zeppelin could satisfy it. In fact, if I ever had to hum a blues metal riff to a puzzled alien, I'd choose Zeppelin's Heartbreaker from Zeppelin 2. I'm not sure that me going dang, 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 da, da, dang, da, 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 dang, 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 da, dang would enlighten him, especially, but I feel like I've done a good job as the circumstances allowed. Even written down like that, it seems to me that the glorious, imbecile, loudness of the track is conveyed efficiently and ambiguously. Read it again. See, it rocks. The thing I like most about rediscovering Led Zeppelin is listening to the Chemical Brothers and the bands, that they can no longer be comfortably accommodated into my life. So much of what you consume when you get older is about accommodation. I have kids and neighbours and a partner who could happily never hear another blues metal riff or rock and beat in her life. Man, I had my mom's ex-boyfriend. He used to listen to Led Zeppelin so loud all the time, and like I would hate it so much. That's why I hate Led Zeppelin, because like that time when I was like made to listen to it like so loud for so long. Go in there and hit him. Best to love more than you ever have been given, even in music. That's me. Yeah, I look for past experiences of music, but mainly love. Okay. I think that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think that with music, if it's not love, if love isn't the main ingredient in the song, it wouldn't even fall into my radar. I don't think. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it would even. I don't think I would even. I wouldn't care about it. But there's also, taste as well. Like, there's certain music that I can't do because it's not my taste in music. But yeah, I'd say all the music that I love has love in it. Pop music, you gotta think about though, because pop music's like, I'm always suspicious of pop music. Even though I like Taylor Swift, I'm suspicious of her. That's why I don't say she's my favourite artist or anything. I'm not suspicious of Joy Division. Joy Division are my favourite band, and Daft Punk. I'm not suspicious of those bands because I know those artists come from a place of loving poetry and loving whatever, like loving the thing that they're doing and being really good at it. Whereas I can't be sure that Taylor Swift is coming from that place. So you have that kind of like suspicion. The thing I like most about rediscovering Led Zeppelin and listening to the Chemical Brothers and the bands is that they can no longer be comfortably accommodated into my life. So much of what you consume. The culture with which I surround myself is a reflection of my personality and the circumstances of my life, which is in part how it should be. And learning to do that, however, things get lost too. And one of the things that get lost, along with a taste for, hospital dramas involving sick children and experimental films, was Jimmy Page. The noise he makes is not who I am anymore, but it's still a noise worth listening to. It's also a reminder that the attempt to grow up smart comes at a cost. It does. Growing up too fast comes at a cost. Growing up too smart comes at a cost. Knowing too much too young comes at a cost. And, you have to crawl before you walk. Otherwise, you'd be really fucked up. And I definitely emotionally walked before I crawled. I don't think I ever crawled at all, actually, emotionally. I came out walking. Because I had to. Survival, You gotta go. Not to wet the toilet. Selena Gomez, Love You Like the Song. Yeah, Selena Gomez has some good pop. I'll concur with that. Like, she has, and also the other one. I'm trying. Oh, trying not to think about you. That's a fucking great pop song. It's like people should study that song as like the perfect pop song. And what else? Oh yeah, like that one. I love you. I hate you to love you. Yeah, I hate you to love you. Yeah, she's good. And she's a good actress too. And she holds her own in that TV show that she's doing with those two comedians. Like, she really, that would be intimidating to be those two comedians, and she really kills it. Yeah, she's good. Next song. One Man Guy, Rufus Wainwright. I try not to believe in God, of course, but sometimes things happen in music and songs that bring me up short, make me do a double take. When things may add up to more than some of their parts, when the effects achieved are inexplicable, then atheists like me start to get into difficult territory. Take Rufus Wainwright's version of his father's Loudon's one-man guy, for example. There should be nothing evoking the spirit about it, really. The song's lovely, but it's a little sour, a little sad, jokey. Joke being that the song is not about the joys of monogamy, but it's about the joys of solipsism. What the fuck is that word? Solipsism. Okay. And misanthropy. Oh my god. I can't read. A joke that is given a neat little twist by Wainwright's junior's sexual orientation. And it's hard to imagine that God has time to pay a visit to something to awry and so self-mocking, and yet really he does. There's no doubt about it, and of course, in doing so, he answers once and for all the question what he thinks of homosexuality. He's not bothered by it one way or another, official. For me, he comes in at the beginning of the second verse, just when Rufus and his sister Martha begin to harmonise. Perhaps significantly, or perhaps he is merely demonstrating a hitherto unsuspected sense of humour. His presence first makes itself known on the line, people meditate, hey, that's just great, trying to find the inner you, it's the harmony that does it, although whether that's cause or effect is a moot point. Does God come in because Martha and Rufus are singing so beautifully together? Does he hear it from afar and think, hey, that's my kind of music, I'm going to see what's going on, or does he enable them to sing together? Does he spot what they're pitching for and help them along the way? When I say that you can hear God in One Man Guy by Rufus Wainwright, I do not mean to suggest that there is an old chap with a beard, a divine Willie Nelson, if you will, warbling along with them, nor do I wish to imply that this surprise guest appearance at the beginning of the second verse proves that Jesus died for our sins, or that rich men will have difficulty earning the kingdom of heaven. I just mean that at certain spine-shivering musical moments, you will have your own inevitably becomes difficult to remain a literist. I have no such difficulty when I hear religious music, by the way, no matter how beautiful. They're cheating those composers, they're inviting him in, egging him on, and surely he wouldn't fall for that. I think you have enough self-respect to stay well away. I'm not sure what difference it makes to me, this occasional vision of the divine in music I love. Okay, maybe it comes as a relief, because a lot of people I have a lot of time for, writers and musicians, sports stars, and politicians have a great deal to say about the subject of God. And hitherto I had felt a bit left out. But I have something, a little scrap of spirituality. I can wave back at them. Oh, and as a writer, I don't normally have much patience for the ineffable. I want to think that everything's effable, otherwise what's the point? But I'm not sure there are words to describe what happens when two voices mesh. And isn't that power, beauty, and sheer perfection of a simple chord a bit, out of limits? It's no wonder Pythagoras got so worked up about harmony. All I can say is that I can hear things that aren't there, see and feel things that I can't normally see and feel. It's hard to realize, and yet, yes, there is such a thing as an immortal soul, or at the very least, a unifying human consciousness, that our lives are short but have meaning. Beyond that, I'm not sure it changes very much, really. I'm not going to listen to stuff like this too often, though, just in case. What do you think about that, BK? I think that he's just like pondering, because music is like a portal to something. It's music's not of this world. It's kind of like, I look at music like, if you look at Genesis and you look at like the snake on like the tree of knowledge of good and evil, I see the snake as like music, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil is like the world, and the tree is a portal between dystopia and utopia. And we're in dystopia, and music can give you a little bit of taste of utopia, because it's like the opposite though. But who's to say that the Garden of Eden wasn't dystopia and Earth was utopia? I don't know. Like, it seemed to me like the Garden of Eden could have been purgatory. because you couldn't feel anything in the Garden of Eden. And not feeling to me is actually hell. Hip hop hustler, what did it say? You can never have too many questions. It's actually more, I think that it's more scary if you have too many answers. Because you know someone's bullshitting. This is impossible. There's only questions in this world, really. There's not many answers. We're never 100% in anything in this world because humans aren't perfect and we can't have perfection doesn't exist. So to have any answers at all really is fraudulent in a way. It's only because I study science though, so I'm not here for that in mind. I'm not an atheist though. I'm not an atheist. I'm not anything. I can't define what I am. But I believe in things that I can't prove. So that's that. Samba Party, Santana. Samba Party is instrumental rather than a song, but is instrumentalist, I think, rather than a song. Sorry. The song is an instrumental rather than a song. But for a crucial period of my mid-teens, when I first came across it, it spoke to me as eloquently as anything that contained lyrics. I was convinced that it described sex. More specifically, Samba Party was what I was going to hear when I lost my virginity. If not on the stereo, then in my head. It starts off slow, mysterious, and beautiful. And then it gets more urgent, and then it fades out. The track lasts 4 minutes and 47 seconds, and incidentally, but before I'm accused of showing off, I had anticipated that we'd be doing other things. Kissing, getting undressed, possibly waiting for a bus home from the cinema, during the slow bit, so I was confident that I could make it through to the fade. I hadn't at that time heard anything that would serve as a better soundtrack. Indeed, I'm not entirely sure that I've heard anything to beat it since. All sorts of pieces of music are constantly being described as sexy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you want them to accompany lovemaking. Most of them, in fact, are sexual substitutes rather than sexual complements. Music for people who aren't getting any, rather than for people who are. Would it be possible to fuck to the tune of Let's Get It On without laughing? That's funny. Not that there's anything wrong with laughing during sex, but laughter was not, I suspect, the sound that Marvin intended to evoke. If you want to laugh, then why not enhance your enormous pleasure with I Have a Pony by Stephen Wright, or Disco Duck by Rick Dees, or Horny by Genuine. And even if you did manage to get through it without a giggling fit, could you manage the same during If I Could Die Tonight, the third track of the album? Granted, you may have finished by then, but that's very chance that you won't have turned the music off, which means that you'll be lying there with your girlfriend or boyfriend or someone and you don't know very well, or Marvin is telling you that the sex you have just had is unlikely to be bettered during the remainder of your lifetimes. Indeed, that you may as well shuffle off this mortal coil now, so anticlimactic in any subsequent experience likely to be. This is an intolerable burden to place on any couple, and certainly inhabits the unusual post-coital activities. Sleep, the hunt for socks, the TV remotes. Okay, that's funny. Tears of joy are more powerful than laughter. Indecisive indecisions suck. Some individuals regurgitate over the same questions over and over. Yeah. I understand that, but I don't think he's doing that. But it's okay to not get something straight away. Like, if you ask a question and you get an answer, you might have to ask it again many times before you actually understand the answer. There's hearing the answer, then understanding the answer, and understanding is a lot harder than hearing. and listening is harder than hearing even. So it's hearing something, there's listening to something, there's understanding something. And there's 3 stages of like learning, I guess. And it's okay to ask the question a million times if you want to. I mean, you'd hope you didn't have to, but it's okay if you do. You gotta be kind to yourself, you know. Prince's "Do Me Baby" from the Controversy album is one of the most sexually explicit and generally erotic records ever made, but it's every bit as problematic as Let's Get It On. For a start, there's a bit about the climax when he goes on all weird and starts saying he's so cold, which might well prove to me something of a distraction unless you two have an inappropriately undertold duvet. That's funny. The next song on the album, Private Joy, is hardly what you want to hear at an intimate moment. At least it brings the first side of Controversy to a close. If you have the album on vinyl. If you have the CD, however, you may find yourself in the unhappy position of trying to give and receive carnal pleasure while Prince sings Running Talk to Russia. A sentiment that no longer even contains the virtue arguable in a sexual context anyway. Of urgency. What one wonders was he thinking of when he sequenced the tracks? Presumably something along the lines of give them 5 minutes to get their breath back and then they'll be wanting to think about pending Armageddon. Inevitably, I did not lose my virginity to Samba Party. Instead, my unfortunate girlfriend and I were listening to the second side of Rod Stewart's Smiler, my favourite record at the time, side 2. I noticed how the feature Hard Road I've grown accustomed to her face and Dixie Toot. In a perfect world, obviously that wouldn't have happened. What other movie did he do? I don't think there was any song music. But I remember like at the time there was this band called what's the band called? Shoo Shoo. Shoo Shoo is the band, and they have a song called, I forget what it's called, but it's a really good song. But Shoo Shoo, really cool. Like, they did this tour of the world, and they were doing like a Twin Peaks kind of depiction in their music, and it was really good. Apparently, I never got to see it because I couldn't get to Brisbane to see it and come to Melbourne, and I had tickets to my mum. I gave her tickets to my mum. She said it was amazing. Of course, I love Twin Peaks. What do you lose your virginity to? What song do you lose your virginity to? Assuming they want to figure out what a man was thinking, not me. I want to know what song you lose your virginity to. What song you lose your virginity to? Betty Spaghetti. What do you got? Betty Spaghetti. Hey! New one? How are you? Did you Bronx real? No, probably not. Hip Hop Hustler. You get some good like ideas for like usernames here. This is not a real person, by the way. I want to see Betty Spaghetti. Where is this one? Betty Spaghetti, come on, bitch. Daddy Dream. What the fuck? Get out of my life, Daddy Dream, you sicko. I get to see these like sickos in my life when I'm singing. Where's Betty Spaghetti? Get over here now, bitch. Gotta change the name. Oh, she's gone. Oh, wasn't good enough for Betty Spaghetti, fucking hell. Oh, was it? That was this guy, oh no. There's actually a song about losing virginity and what song she lost her virginity to. I think I've got it somewhere. It's really good. Winona. If you want to use any of my songs, just put it in Winona 420 and all my songs that I've uploaded. And the lyrics are a bit like sus. Like the cuts are good, but the lyrics, I have to tell you, I'm not very good at that. I always like end up falling asleep or something, like, and I'm like, oh shit, I missed it. So yeah, they don't read in line, which really doesn't help anyone. How do I have it? You also try love cults. Love cults can have some of my songs sometimes. So there's Z. There's Janika love cults, love cults. What's the damn thing? First love. Okay. Let's just try local song and first love. I feel like a million songs with first love, right? Emmy. The. Great. No, great. Oh yeah, let's see. Is that good, that I don't make headphones on the whole time because. Oh, okay, you can't hear it because I got it down. See, that's good. Oh yeah, that's alright. This is called First Love. It's about losing your virginity to a song that goes with that book, I guess. Let's go. First Love. I love this. It's like I read a book and then I start singing. I feel like I'm in play school. This is play school.